Greetings, folks. Today, you're about to see the final episode in the SheepGods 1000 Days quadrilogy. Today, you will watch as I survive all the way to day 1000. Wait, what's wrong? Day 989, okay. Not only that, but this entire episode will be filmed in 1.20. Anyways, sit down, grab a snack, and enjoy the final video I shall create in the 100 days format. Okay, I lied. The very first day is still on 1.19.4. There's a bug in this version with jack-o'-lanterns. If you didn't know, in this version you could put jack-o'-lanterns on your head, or armor stands, and even enchant them. And this is being patched 1.20, so these will technically be my first ever illegal items. But after putting them into my museum, I realized it's quite small. I'm probably going to have to expand it eventually, by like a lot. But I'm not going to worry about that because now it's really 1.20. Unfortunately, Optifine won't be updated for our next while, so the game's going to look a little ugly. But anyways, my first goal for the update is to find a cherry grove. But unfortunately, all the areas nearby that are supposed to have cherry trees don't. That's because this world is old, so I'm going to have to go on a journey. To give you an idea of how long it took to find a cherry tree, I found an entirely new outpost during my travels. But by nightfall, I finally found the cherry grove, and I was treated with quite a warm welcome. This is a pretty biome. It's a shame I have to go thousands of blocks out just to begin finding it. But after annihilating this beautiful ecosystem, I got enough cherry wood, so I'll never have to go looking for this biome again. But then I found a new ocean, so I decided to try my luck on some archaeology. Archaeology is a very good way to get some of the rare things in the 1.20 update, such as the pottery shards, smithing templates, and even the sniffer eggs. Sadly no eggs yet, but I do have a treasure map. It was a pretty good chest, just gotta try not to drown. Alright, now I'm in a warm ocean with an even bigger ocean ruin. Let's see what we get. Oh my god, these giant like pimples just won't go away. Wait, hold on. Holy crap, it's it! Hell yeah, it smells interesting. I searched all the way to day 505 where I got a second egg. I'm happy with that. But check this out. Not only is this ship completely out of the water, but it's also completely intact. And finally, I'm home. Also, my wood collection is now finished. The night was basically spent putting stuff away as well as creating the greatest brush known to man. The mech villager got a well-needed glow up on day 506. I even started curing my farmer for cheaper meals. Look! He's clearing land! That means he must want to build something. How much dirt do I need to own to be legally considered insane? I reached the spawn day 507. Yeah, it was a slow day today. Damn, clearing land takes a lot longer than I remembered. Alright, I'm done clearing land. Time for my next masterpiece. It's been over 500 days, and I finally realized that owning an iron farm may actually be a smart idea. I'm also kind of weighing this based on some things I've seen online, so this is going to be interesting. Since iron farms rely on villagers to spawn the golems, I need to kidnap a good few villagers to make it. 6 to be exact. It's mega time for all of you. And look who it is. It's the final villager of the first layer. So now I'm ready to put the other 3 villagers in. The only problem is that I lack the population to do so. Gave me an excuse to get rid of that useless golem 69. I was also able to make this kill pit, which is where the iron golems will meet their excruciatingly painful deaths. Now it's time for the miners. Alright, I've trapped the fetuses, now it's time for the old dead people. Since villagers need to be scared in order to spawn an iron golem, I need to trap a zombie. But since they can't walk on rails for some reason, I had a hell of a time trapping my first one. And unsurprisingly, it died. But after removing all the rails, I trapped my first zombie, and holy crap, they already spawned an iron golem. My intrusive thoughts got the best of me, and the next thing you know, I'm running for my life. But I trapped this golem zombie without an incident after, so we all chill. Now I'm creating the thing which will push the golems to their death. But instead, the only thing to fall to their death was me. This set my schedule back by several minutes. At this point, the hardest part of the farm is done. Now I just gotta make the kill chamber and decorate it. And of course, I had to use blackstone, which resulted in me spending an entire day in the nether. Sadly, I have to demolish the beacon. It served us well, but now it's in the way of our iron tower. Speaking of which, construction is going pretty well, but there's a pretty concerning development. It seems like the bottom layer isn't making any iron golems for some reason. I would just pray that the problem will fix itself, but I might have to do a little investigation if it continues to be iron dry. But other than that, things seem to be going pretty well. What in the actual fuck are you doing here? You can tell this is going to be a good iron farm by the mosh pit down there, but now the top layer isn't producing anything. Since I fixed the bottom layer by doing absolutely nothing, doing the same will probably work for the top. Alright, time to destroy this mosh pit. I'm just going to use lava to kill them all. Eventually I have a collection system. Okay, why do you have a saddle? Do you guys know why? Anyways, I just need to mine more blackstone without dying. That should probably be the last time I have to mine blackstone, thankfully. Now, I don't want the tower to just be a blackstone pole. That's why I'm making the never-before-seen official flag of Sheep Island. While doing so, I accidentally spilled some water. Well, it's not that big of a deal. Hey, this torch fell. That must mean that the water made its way into... Oh no! At least the flags looks nice. Yeah. I'm driven to finish this project, regardless of how much obsidian I have to mine or how many totems I have to pop. Unfortunately for him, I possess more power than his puny self can even comprehend. But now, the exterior is almost finished. Now I just need to make this little addition on the side. This will be the area where the iron will output and eventually where some villagers will be as well. Now we just need to make a collection. The system will basically be identical to my creeper farm. There's not really much use of me showing it. But now we have another problem. My iron farm is too fast and one hopper can't keep up. Well, 3 hoppers can. Now I'm almost done with this bloody farm. I just gotta try not to pop another totem. And now with the final addition of a water line, my customly designed iron farm is now complete. I took last night and today to AFK and see how good the farm is. I got a pretty decent amount in the end. And now I'm back to the Soul Sand Valley Fortress for day 523. There's some very big plans I have for this thing, but if I want to achieve those plans, I need a reliable system to go from my nether portal to the fortress. So I'm going to be using the nether roof as such. But of course I forgot pistons, so I had to make a dash home. I guess I do need to place the slab path as well. And bada bing bada boom, now I have a path through the bedrock to the fortress. And now it's time for a very big and very important project. I'm making a wither skeleton farm. The truth is, I want beacons. A lot of them. And the only reasonable way to get them is to make a wither skeleton farm. Although, unfortunately, they are infamous for requiring a lot of spawn proofing. You see, if I block off all areas entities can spawn except for a tiny little crossroad, then I can get stacks of mobs to spawn where I want them. And since Soul Sand Valleys are devoid of life, they also sort of serve as spawn proofing. You know, one bonus to all the spawn proofing is I'll finally be able to be rid of all these annoying hemorrhoids. I've been preparing for this for a while. The iron farm was literally for iron blocks for the beacons. I had to take a trip home to resupply, but now I'm back. Listen, you don't know the pain of being shot at by a dozen different blazes. At this point, I've slabbed all the normal areas. Now I'm just looking for a few problem areas. But hey, things are looking pretty dead up in here, just a little more slabbing. I ran out of slabs today. Next! Yeah, I kinda underestimated how many slabs I had to place. But this should be over soon. Alright, I think I'm done. Now it's time for the actual farm. Now I'm finally making a portal to the end over 400 days after discovering it. An incredibly important part of the wither farm is wither roses. If I place a wither rose somewhere, then only where skeletons can spawn, and that would just make the farm unimaginably fast. My plan was to spawn the wither in the end and get it to kill endermen, since mobs killed by the wither drop wither roses. But it was very dangerous and I only got 2 roses. I tried a few more things, in the end I didn't bother recording because none of them worked. So now I'm back to the mainland making a horrible atrocity. I'm making a chicken farm. It's pretty easy to duplicate chickens considering they lay eggs and eat fucking grass. Sometimes I wonder why I do these things, but trust me, with beacons everywhere on my island, doing stuff will be so much easier. Yeah, this is quite boring, but at least I have YouTube on my side to give me quality content.
Bye, then maybe somebody will have sex with me. Minecraft won't add inches to your car.
Bro, what am I even doing with my life? I'm just clicking a sea of chickens. I tried to expand the farm, but there was a jailbreak. At least my dogs won't go hungry anymore. Now that I have enough chickens, I'm underground preparing the room where I'll massacre them all. It's just a dispenser finding out eggs constantly, and when I got back to the surface, I was viciously assaulted by a violent creeper. I had to restock on seeds, but I think I'm almost done with this wretched massacre. 2 days of collecting, and now it's time to put these things out of their misery. Since I won't be using these chickens up here anymore, I'm putting them with the rest for extra roses, and I put a lot in there. Perhaps too much. Already it's time to say die-die chickens. Ooh, diamonds! The good news is that I got over 5 stacks of roses, which is more than enough. The bad news is that I have no totem, and I have to kill the wither now. I just took my time and was careful about the whole thing, and before I knew it, the wither was dead. I don't ever want to look at another chicken again. Finally, I'm back to finish the job. I'm mostly done collecting materials now, so I'm finally ready to build the actual farm. It's basically a slightly modified design of Logical Geek Boy's No Wither Rose farm, except with wither roses. I have to build it on a crossroad deep within the Soul Sand Valley, and this one was a perfect fit. It did require some excavating though. Okay, I have some very troubling news. I am a few wither roses short of completing this farm. It's like less than half a stack. I should be able to get it no problem. I went to slab up an area nearby that was spawning stuff for a minute, and oh, holy shit, what the fuck is this? Okay, it's fast. There's no doubt about that. The concept is going to be very simple. I'm just going to get a bunch of snow golems. Or should I? I feel so bad. They just look so cute. Well, not bad enough. And now I'm done with the Wither Rose saga. Now I need to run home for another supply trip, but I'm near. Just had to take a day to get some cobwebs, and I had a nice stroll around my house. But it finally works. And it works good. Since this is like worlds better than I expected, I won't have to spend 10 days down here and give myself cancer while doing so. Because if I really want to get myself cancer, I'll probably just listen to music that YouTubers have created. And now I have finally got a stack of skulls. Now I just need to get some soul sand. In case you are completely tone deaf, I'm going to kill the wither. But I'm not just going to fight him in some caves this time. I'm going to trap him under the end portal. Unfortunately, the first time I did this, he managed to get out. I did manage to figure it out though. I think because my sword has knockback froze him out of the position, but that's okay. Alright, all the withers are dead. Just need over a stack of obsidian. And here it is. My 24 beacons. I want to make an array of beacons similar to Luke the Noble's beacon array. Wow, I just steal everything from that guy. Unfortunately, I don't have enough iron for all the beacons. I don't know about you guys, but that beach has been staring at me. I've been meaning to fix up this hunk of junk for a while now. Alright, I've removed some useless infrastructure and filled in some creeper holes. It's just missing something. Oh yeah, now it's perfect. Then I just AFK'd. While I had a shower IRL. Another thing I've wanted to do for a while is finish the funnel on my ship. But since I'm concrete broke, I'm going to have to venture out for more sand and gravel. But with this file layer, I'm done. And let me tell you, she looks a lot better now. And not just on the map too. Now, since my iron farm is in the spawn chunks, it will constantly produce. So time for some action-packed excavation. I had to go back home to get some shulker boxes, but now I'm back to dig out more of these ruins up. There are a few rare items in these things that I do want to get, such as the new music desk. There's also armor templates, but I don't want this peasant stuff. I just spat all over my computer screen. nasty. I also repurposed the use of suspicious gravel and put them in item form, which you aren't even supposed to get in survival, I believe. Eventually I got the new music disc, Relic. I left shortly after. In case you haven't noticed, I've run out of totems, so I had a raid in order to restock on them. And now I'm back, making a building which will house 2 different farms at once. I'm making a sugarcane farm for paper and a bamboo farm for wood. It also gives me an excuse to use the new bamboo block. Alright, now I got a working bamboo and paper farm, albeit a little ugly. And now I'm in a desert for its natural resources. I've been sand and gravel dry for a while now, so I want to fix that. Plus I have an idea for a project I can do whilst we wait for the final iron to produce. Plus I have a project planned after I install the beacons. Plus I have a humongous build planned for the future. Alright, now I'm back. And I've just noticed this out of place block. On the topic of blocks, I'm making a monument for a very special one today. Although this is arguably one of my most expensive builds ever, but it's for the TNT block. I've been fascinated with it since my Pocket Edition days, which is nearly a decade ago. Also, watch this. Yeah, I may or may not have installed a couple of quality of life data packs. Okay, it's nothing crazy, just a couple. Gas and enderman can't damage blocks. Dropping concrete powder into a cauldron makes concrete, and coal can be crafted into black dye. Alright, I'm in the middle of doing the wording right now. The sides of the TNT are pretty basic. It's the top that one should fear. Yeah, see? Look how complex this thing is. But I did manage to get what is essentially a replica of a TNT's top. And now I have a replica of a TNT block in my world. I still haven't finished the monument though. Now I'm not going to make the emeralds stretch all the way to the sea floor because I'm way too poor for that. But I did make it look nice enough. Wow. Such a useful addition to the world. And I don't even have enough iron for 4 beacons yet. Alright, so I decided to AFK for a little bit, but then I forgot now it's day 573. Okay, I decided to do something a little more productive and did a raid. 2 days of collecting. Alright, I finally have enough iron to make the beacon array. I'm going to try and get 1 beacon aligned, then I will build the other 3. Then I can finally move on to other things. And wow, that was very easy. Well, maybe I should sleep now. Alright, I've got the first beacon mapped out now, it's time for the second. Although my worst fear has been realized, as this beacon is in the middle of my infrastructure. Like, it's not the worst thing since it lines up the path, but come on. Luckily, the other 2 beacons are not that obstructive. And now for our next step. I have to dig 4 holes to bedrock. It took me an entire day, but I got the first beacon installed. And by the end of day 580, I got the second beacon in. And on the night of day 581, I was already onto the hole for the final beacon. And with that, I'm done. A 200 by 200 area where I have complete power over the entire world. Of course, I had to seal the deal by adding some colors. There we go. I'm infinitely powerful. Aw, crap, phantoms. Alright, time for our next project. Don't let size fool you. It's very special. I mentioned earlier that I want to make a bigger museum. Well, I'm gonna do that and make it so I can actually reasonably expand it. Also, I checked my old museum, and I have not the slightest idea what happened here and when, but a hole was blown into the side of my museum and my first pick was erased in the process. Well, there goes some history. It's going to be an underground system of tunnels with different areas for my cool stuff. It also uses only the finest blocks I can muster. Day 585 I went back up to my old museum. There I divided my items into 3 categories: historical, rare, and illegal. Historical items are items with historical significance in my world. Rare items are, well, rare, and illegal items are items that I technically shouldn't have in Minecraft Survival. But this brought me with an interesting problem regarding this armor stand. I have to move it to my museum, but I can't destroy the stand or I won't be able to recreate it. I can deal with it later. Also, I feel like suspicious gravel is illegal as well. I did many things on day 586. I made a ceiling for the main hall as well as the hallway and ceiling for the illegal items section. And on day 587 I was clearing out the historical section. And now it's time for the first illegal section pod. And I'm making the first pod, the jack-o'-lanterns. I used the water bucket to slowly drag the armor stand to the museum. And I managed to get it in on day 580, in the wrong direction. So now it's time to decorate the pod. And I'm not just going to make it bland and uninspired, I'm actually going to give it character. It's going to be a little pumpkin farm, The enchanted punk pig is going to sit on a fence pole, and the armor stand is going to hide in the barn, very similar to my horse one. Eventually, I was done and was ready for the next one, and this is where I'm going to store my suspicious gravel and sand. So, this design is going to be a bit more basic. It's just going to be a room of sand and gravel split between the middle. There's a lantern pedestal of gravel, and 1 day sand. I had to get a little creative with making the sand and gravel ceiling due to them being gravity blocks. Hey, this is me, SheepGod. You may be wondering how I got here. Well, it all started when I wanted some skulk-themed blocks for my warden area, but I realized that I have no silk touch hose to grab skulk, so I decided to look for one in an ancient city. Alright, this experience is the breaking point. I will not step foot in another ancient city until I create a warden switch. Now later, haters. Now I'm recreating the place where I almost met my demise. It's pretty basic, not much more complex than the pumpkin build. It's just that I'm missing some decors such as skulk vase and soul lanterns. And I can't go down now because there's a warden guarding the entrance. And there we go, perhaps the most deadly part of this whole museum. This pod is going to be a lot more basic but still very important. It's a rare ore pod. It's going to be a cross between the regular stone layer, deep slate, and netherrack, with 2 ores in each slater. I used granite to mark where the future ores will be, so it's time for some good old-fashioned school shootings. I found this snout template. Would have been nice to find a netherite one, but okay. I also came across the infamous piglin orgy bug, but I chose to ignore it. I also found the netherite upgrade thing. I was very excited. I hit the golden jackpot on day 594, and now it's time for the last school in the district. And I'm back. I found some debris during my travels, so I added it to my ore pod. And now I'm almost done with the golden apple pod. So I guess I need to sweep more bastions. Day 597 does not exist. Don't go looking for it. I tried. But day 598 exists, and I finally finished the gold room. Thankfully, the head section didn't require any crazy expeditions. It's basically just the inside of a house or something like that. And of course, I had to get a leather for a dragon head. Now it's time for the final section, the historical stuff. It's also the same size as the illegal and rare section combined. The first pod was for my first beacon. It's very bland and basic. The next pod will contain the dragon egg. But I need... wait. Whose cat is this? I grabbed some fish to tame it, but by the time I arrived back, it was gone. Screw you too, then. The next pod will store the dragon egg on top of a fake pedestal. I used glazed terracotta to simulate bedrock and concrete powder to simulate the portal. Although it's a little hard to see the egg, it's still quite good. This exhibit is a simple one, but it's where I'm going to house my second pick. It's also the first one to use a book to describe what happens to the first pick. Now my next exhibit will house my old clock, but I also want to make an exhibit for my old base in general. It's honestly quite fitting that I get to make it on day 600. All the materials will of course be sourced from the remains of my old base, even the sheep. It was a bit of a pain to drag the sheep down here though, and there are some injuries. Then I made a very basic recreation of my wall and sheep pen. Even has the old shepherd's hut. Hopefully no baby zombies will break in this time. It was nice taking some time to lay back with Mel Gibson and charcoal. Day 6-8 when I created a little place to store my face. It will also serve as an area to put more art in when needed. Call it a museum within a museum. The last one I want to make is a diorama of my camping trip in the 500 days, with the original boat and everything. As well as make it look like a sunset, and with that I can finally forget about this bloody museum. Alright, time to tear this hunk of junk down. I've been meaning to get rid of it for a while now. It blocks up light below and is right over the spawn region, plus makes everything below invisible on the map. Much better. Alright, I want to build a new mechanism, and I need slime. I'm going to kill plenty of slime here. I don't want to do this again. I ditched after killing a family's worth of slime. Alright, I'm back at this wretched place. And I'm here to prove my dominance to the warden one last time, by completely wiping it from existence. I'm making a warden switch by Ilmango since wardens are the worst sin in Minecraft since ghasts. The first step was to make a work area around a single streaker, which I did. The next was to dig out a massive pit, after I did some very complex redstone that I don't understand in the slightest. Okay, this is a new one. Chunk loaders. The basic idea is that there's a portal which you shoot items through. That results in the portal loading the chunks around it to let items go through. But with that, the warden switch should be done, and now a warden should not spawn anymore. Ha! You can't... Oh, what the fuck? Okay, for some reason, it's not working. Okay, I got a new design. It's a very basic and very compact design, but it's basically the same idea as the first one. Alright, here's the deal. I'm done with the switch, but now the shrieker isn't shrieking all the time. But finally, yes, I got a working design! Okay, now I have a chunk loader. Now if I try to activate the shrieker, it won't activate. Yes! That took so much longer than it needed to. But it will all be worth it since I can now loot any amount of ancient cities that I want. And the warden will never spawn. The warden switch is just so holy shit, it's silence! Silence is the rarest armor trim in the game and what I want to use to trim out my armor. I still looted the rest of the city though. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I moved on to another city. And that was the second chest. I looted the rest of the city, but there wasn't anything important. Then I went home and gave myself a fresh fit. Yeah, I'll get all the checks of this new fit. I also made a second set for a display because I'm putting this in my museum. It's just like the Warren head exhibit, so nothing too special. I feel like I could have chosen a better color for it than green, but I'm happy with it. What a lovely addition. But when one project ends, another begins. Wait, where am I? 100 blocks off is where I was. I have some big plans for this valley, but first I need to erase some natural landscapes. I've seen so many builds over years of realistic towns and cities in Minecraft, and I've always wanted that for myself. You could say, it was my dream. That sounded gay. Although of course I have to clear out kilometers of land in Mooten Valley. Want me to tell you the inspiration for this town? So there's this game on Roblox called Twisted, which is basically a storm chaser game, and I like the design of the towns. They are, in my opinion, the perfect balance of rural and urban. I also recommend the game since it's pretty fun. Although I do wish there was more content. Alright, now I got a pretty decent chunk of land, so I might have to annihilate that hill in the distance later on. Now it's time to tear apart my landscape for my new road. I spent all day 618 trying to make this hill next to my town look nice, knowing damn well that I'm going to tear it down in the future. Now I have the pleasure of laying the roads out. And the worst part is I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get more black concrete. Alright, I have begun laying out my first building. It's a Waffle House. I've never been to a Waffle House, but I've heard that it's pretty good. Plus I need one indestructible place in my world. Now we have the pleasure of making the wording on the sides. Right now you're watching me make W. If you want to know what video I used to make the wording, I have a name and creator in the credits along with all the other tutorials that I used. Alright, I've got the words done and holy crap, it's already night. Well, I need a few more materials anyways. Alright, now I have to make the exterior of the Waffle House, and I'm out of bricks. I still joyfully worked on the Waffle House whilst ignoring those obvious terrorists. While I was waiting for the bricks to smelt, I built the words for the Waffle House. I planned the layout so that this single build would fit perfectly. I also made this thing on the cover. I know it has a name, I'm just forgetting on it. I decided to make a tile flooring using iron because I really need to get rid of some of it. I also began working on the roof. It was a simple, yet effective roof. I thought today was the last time I would have to make a supply trip home till I realized that I forgot quartz. One trading session later and I am done with that ceiling. I was able to install tables and chairs on day 626. I also had the pleasure of installing another sign. Despite the obvious alignment issues, it came out alright. Then to top things off, I brought some food over and enjoyed some tasty waffles. You know, this place is still kind of bland. I should make more stuff. It's just a blue office building. I could perhaps put other storefronts inside though. Yeah, I definitely don't have enough materials for that monstrosity. I have to take a supply trip home, but now I'm back to work. Why am I even doing this? I don't even know what to put here. I got the walls done, but before I create the ceiling, I need roof access. These stairs could be safer, but sadly our budget is only 2 nickels and a Happy Meal. I just need a tad bit more terracotta now. After I finished the roof, I began going floor to floor, adding floors. And I have a big, blue, bland building that I have no idea what to do with. But I have an idea of what to do with this big empty plot. I'm going to make a seafood restaurant. It's totally not going to be inspired by Red Lobster. It's going to be a fancy one too. I even have the budget for trees. And now I'm making a portal to the desert. I'm kind of bored of building stuff, so I'm going to explore the desert for some new 1.20 stuff. I quickly found a village and trapped my first camel. And tonight I found another. After I found my first denser tempo, of course there's the classic TNT pit, but there's also the new sand pit that all gold diggers will love getting their paws into. Yoo-hoo! Tempo number 2! Of course there was plenty of goodies here. Just gotta make sure not to destroy any of them. And tempo number 3. This is getting old. Continue with my trend of not wanting to build. I'm making perfect armor. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. Ever since I made the silencer. I exterminated the needless librarians to make way for more villagers. A move which will totally not bite me in the back later. I've so far gotten thorns and respiration from these buggers. Now all I need is protection 4. My god, I'm starting to get cancer from doing this. And if I really want to get myself cancer, then you know, because I'd just be binge watching Disney sequels. It is 2 in the morning. I am really getting sick of this shit. Alright, I'm done with this shit. I'm going to bed. You know, statistically, I should have gone protection 4 days ago. But here I am. But yes, I have protection 4. Now I have every enchantment for the helmet except for respiration. During my respiration escapades, I got protection 4. Okay. But then I got respiration 3, and I created my first ever fedora. And I also created some juicy chests. And on day 642, I created a knee protector. Looking back, I should have named it knee pads. But with these spiky cleaves, anything is possible. The next logical course of action was to test my newfound powers on another raid. The raid was hectic, and it always will be hectic, but it was a lot easier. Even the water tactic was worlds better since I could now swim faster and stay underwater for way longer. Yay, more seafood restaurant production. I'm just working on the parking lot right now. Despite several creepers, I also created a basic framework for the building. Though I'm going to sleep. These mobs are annoying to high hell. I continue to work on the seafood restaurant, cause that's what I'm working on right now. But I'm almost done with this roof, though it is a little plain. After taking a surprisingly long time to resupply at home, I finally arrived at the town, only to realize I forgot black glass. Well, I might as well put the signage up while I'm here. I finally have a name for this place. The Fish Shack. Today was all about flooring. I made a nice wave carpet pattern for the restaurant part. Also, did I mention that these pretty pots are here too. And for the kitchen, I used iron because the iron economy has become beyond inflated. And if you want to know what I mean by that, just search up Minecraft inflation. I also had to kick a crackhead out of my bathroom. Today, I was finally able to install lights. I also had this cool calcite ceiling, which gives the place texture. I also made some tables and chairs, cause where else are people gonna eat? I'm almost done with the fucking shack. I'm here with the final load of stuff. I just need to add some decor. And I also installed a kitchen. Alright, I'm done with that thing. Later I created the boner slicer for a very important purpose. Well, before I explain the purpose of the boner slicer, I should explain what purpose leads us to here. So I decided a while back, as most of you know, to quit the 100 days format. Well, my absolute deadline for getting this video released is mid-October, and editing this monstrosity in time using the normal method is basically impossible for me. So I'm very, very sorry, but I have to do this. I'm going to sort of make a montage in the next 340 days. Now I promise no new characters or anything are introduced that you need to have emotional attachment to, so don't worry about that. So, let's begin. So, what was the bonus slicer used for? Beacon lamps? Yes, it took 10 days for fucking street lamps. And now shall begin perhaps my largest project in Minecraft history. The Sheepian. Trust me, you do not want to see 30 days of me just placing concrete, so you should be thanking me for this montage. Basically, the Sheepian is a slightly modified version of the loose titanium made by Ritual Roos. It serves no functional purpose, but I really like chipping away at this behemoth of a ship. And trust me, this thing still has a lot of work ahead of it. Oh, I also blinged up 6-9 lamp for day 696. Trust me, this ship is massive. I spent over 120 days creating the exterior. I also created a sniffer pen, and a guardian farm for sea lanterns that I also love. The first interior space I created in the Sheepian is the bridge, aka the driving area. Shortly after I created the first class stairwell. It's an area for the first class of the Sheepian that stretches from the boat deck all the way to the deck. It's massive and a very luxurious space. obviously taking inspiration from the Titanic. Oh yeah, I made a camel pen. The only stuff that the first class gets on D-Deck is cabins, spa, and a pool that I eventually remove. Finally, for days 836, we returned to Moulton Valley, where I erased the hill like I promised and placed roads. I also spent a while building a dock for Moulton Valley because it's a coastal town. In it is a small paddle steamer as well, to transport cargo across the ocean. What a lovely dock. Oh yeah, who could forget the Sheepians Lounge? Assuming that this ship existed at the exact same time as the Lusitania, this would probably be the largest lounge ever built on a ship at the time, and definitely the most luxurious. It includes a fountain, balconies, the Sheep Union flag, and music. How much money would you pay for a luxury suite on the Sheepian? Better be a lot, cause they are amazing. Basketball better have been a thing back in the old days, or this will be embarrassing. Day 9/11 was a great day for stock markets and towers as I began the curing process for the Iron Tower villagers. Look at this cell tower. It's amazing. It also provides an even better view of Moulton Valley. Day 922 to 926 was for a stamping monument, if you were wondering. So here's my fictional railroad company, Crafting Table Transport. Basically, it's just a network of rails to all the important locations in Sheep World, which so far is my island, Raytown, and Moulton Valley. It has some cool station designs. I also created the final pool design for a Sheepian. It's way better than the old one. Welcome to Blom's Park, folks. Blom's, my IRL friend, has always wanted something dedicated to him in my world, so he gets a park. There's even a black tree mill dedicated to him. The last interior space I built in the Sheepian was the crew stairwell spanning every single deck and the Quebec Road. Also, thank God I was recording right here. I got struck by lightning. Just kidding, there's also a Sweetberry Cafe in the Sheepian too. Remember the skeleton horses I trapped all those months ago? They are relevant again. Also, a lot of smaller things happened during my time I just listed, but they are small. And here we are, the grand finale of my 100-day series. Day 983, enter Blazin'. Bad news, Mel Gibson is gone. Choco, get in your room, we are in a state of emergency. Thankfully, it was just on the doorstep. I would have been in the mainland by now if it weren't for your stupid cloud. I thought he was upset because Charco was getting all his attention, so I got him some fish. That worked, thankfully, so here's the grand finale of the episode. Sheep World's first visitor, Blazin' 7420. You don't want to know how much pain it was to set up a land world. I just gave up and used the realm. Of course, the very first thing I did was make him sign a book. Then I gave it a home in a museum, which I didn't mention in the montage. This is when his stupidity started to shine. Trust me, he's a relatively smart guy IRL. He just likes to act idiotic to annoy me. After that, I just gave him a nice tour of my land. There's no need to rush. The first thing I did was to show him every animal I owned, from the iconic Mel Gibson charcoal to the chronically underfed mushrooms. Blazin' also permanently borrowed some armor because he has a chronic dying problem. And just to know, he was definitely being disrespectful towards Joan. Whilst we were racing on the race course, I kid you not, 2 charged creepers naturally spawned. I can't believe my luck with lightning in this video. One died, but I was able to trap the other for later use. For some reason, I really like Blazin'. We finished off the day by sleeping next to the Sheepian's wheelhouse. After getting some sleep, we toured around the first class area of the Sheepian, which is basically a staircase with a few rooms off to the side. I'm kinda shocked that he didn't try claiming the other private suite, but who am I to judge? Here's where Blazin' employs his most annoying tactic, not being able to swim apparently. I know that teleporting him to me is technically cheating, but there is no other way to control him. The last place I was able to show him was Quebec Road in the spa. He loved the baths that he thankfully couldn't drown in. I tried to show him the Sweetberry Cafe, but he was being disobedient, so he didn't get a good look at it. Finally, we began our travels on the minecart track. Of course, this was to get to Moulton Valley. It was just a bunch of running and touring around. He was very confused about the Blom's tree. I tried to show him around the dock, but then he began drowning like an idiot again. And who could forget the stamping monument? He was an idol of Blazin' too. The final thing we did was go up in the cell tower. He was very good at climbing the ladder. We did manage to climb to the top, and I showed him the glorious view outside. With Moulton Valley thoroughly explored, we headed home. and Blazin has no respect for a railroad because he caused a huge traffic jam. We somehow managed to trap a zombie too. Well, it's a problem for me in the future. For some context, we hit each other before us, so if I started standing up dogs, Blazin was screwed. We forgot to look around the main island, so I did that. I think I may have given him too many funny leaves, and to finish things off, we played some hide and seek. It makes me want to play hide and seek again, but in a different place on the main island. Listen, I had an amazing hiding spot here. I would have stayed up here for a while if it didn't fall. We did a redo of the round though, and I hit it with my own kind and pick a pet. So, I had footage for day 988, but it got corrupted. So, that's it. The end of the 100 days format. But this is just a new beginning for me. Now with the new Let's Play format, I can do things that were never possible before and will now actually be able to have a functioning upload schedule. So make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of that, because I assure you my Let's Plays will be, at bare minimum, 47.3 more entertaining than this. But for now, let's look at the very final 100 days credit sequence.